Good evening and welcome to the news at 9 on Voice of the People Television. I am Promise A. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website on www.vop.ng for trending stories. Now the headlines. Truck falls off in Lagos Bridge. Police to prosecute Gombe truck driver for Easter killings. UK deports 43 immigration offenders to Nigeria and Ghana. Meta to appeal tribunal's decision on $220 million fine. Governor Zulum raises alarm over Boko Haram regrouping. Abia denies Oti's alleged defection. And on the foreign scene, Pope Francis laid to rest. In business, Naira strengthens 0.14% against dollars. In sports, Obi elected into Badminton World Federation Council. In the world of entertainment, Davido's 5 makes UK album charts. And now the news in details. A fully laden truck today fell off the Penn Cinema Bridge in Lagos State, leaving the driver severely injured. A statement by the Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department, Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, Adebayo Tofik, said the accident occurred along Agege Old Abeokuta Road around the bridge. Traffic disclosed that preliminary inquiries suggested that the truck driver, who suffered a grievous fracture to both hands, lost control of the vehicle while navigating the bridge. Consequently, the truck plunged from the bridge, landing upon 2 commercial buses stationed beneath. Expressing concern, the general manager of LASMA, Olalekon Bakareoki, admonished motorists, particularly truck operators, to exhibit heightened vigilance, especially with the onset of the rainy season. He further underscored the importance of strict compliance with extant road safety protocols and enjoined drivers to adhere to the newly installed speed limiting devices. Bakareoki also extended heartfelt wishes for the rapid and full recovery of the injured driver. And away from that story, the Gombe Police Command says it has filed charges against Usman Mohammed, a driver truck rammed into a gathering of Christians during the Easter celebration on Monday. The truck laden with grains crashed into worshippers returning from prayer ground in Tashangona, Biliri local government area of Gombe State. Buhari Abdullahi, police spokesperson in Gombe, said in a statement that a 2-count charge has been filed against the truck driver for reckless driving and causing death. In another development, the Federal Road Safety Corps has redeployed 2 assistant corps marshals and 24 corps commanders to key department and corps offices. The FRSC Corps Marshal Shehu Muhammad revealed this in a statement that was made available to newsmen by the Corps Public Education Officer Olusegun in Abuja. Muhammad said that the redeployment had become necessary towards creating a safer motoring environment. He said that it was also part of an initiative targeted at ensuring full realization of the corporate strategic goals of the Corps for the year. Here in Lagos, the State Environmental Task Force has arrested 52 suspects during a late-night clean-up operation aimed at ridding Lagos Island of criminal elements. The Commissioner for the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, made this known today in a statement on X. Wahab disclosed that the task force commenced its enforcement operation at about 12:35 a.m. today, covering key areas such as Lekki Ikoyi, Falomo Bridge, Eco Hotel, and Ligali Ayorinde. He explained that during the road and the raid, 52 suspects were apprehended, comprising 51 males and a female. The commissioner noted that sanity was restored in all the areas visited during the operation. Wahab assured that all arrested suspects will be charged in court accordingly as part of ongoing efforts to ensure a safer Lagos. And elsewhere, the Oyo State Police Command has uncovered a human trafficking ring in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The police in a major operation rescued 83 individuals and a child from a house in the Urugun area of the state where they had allegedly been held for an undisclosed period. Preliminary reports suggest that the victims, believed to be nationals of the Democratic Republic of Congo, were lured to Nigeria under the pretense of being offered employment opportunities. There are also claims that the perpetrators extorted significant sums of money, reportedly in dollars, from the victims' parents and relatives as part of the elaborate scheme. The rescued individuals are currently at the police headquarters in Eleyele, Ibadan, where authorities are conducting further investigation to ascertain the full details of the case. And still in the news, the United Kingdom said it deported 43 failed asylum seekers and foreign offenders to Nigeria and Ghana. A joint statement released by the Home Office and the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office did not state the exact date of the deportation. However, the statement also did not clarify whether all the deportees were citizens of Nigeria and Ghana or how many were sent to each country. Since taking over last year, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has overseen 2 charter flights carrying 87 people to Nigeria and Ghana. And moving on, Meta has announced plans to appeal the decision by the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal to uphold a $220 million fine imposed by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission over its data practices. The penalty stems from a 38-month investigation conducted between 2021 and December 2023 by the FCCPC in collaboration with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. The probe revealed unauthorized data sharing, lack of user consent mechanism, and discriminatory practices that created Nigeria consumers differently from users in other regions. And in July 2024, based on the findings of the investigation, the FCCPC imposed a $220 million fine on Meta and WhatsApp. The fine was for alleged violations of Nigeria's data protection and consumer rights laws, along with a mandate for corrective measures to align Meta's business practices with Nigerian regulations. In a ruling, the tribunal upheld the $220 million fine, affirming the FCCPC's authority and investigative processes. The tech giant, however, in a statement expressed disagreement with the tribunal's ruling, saying that it would urgently seek to appeal the decision and apply for a stay of execution. The company also contested the tribunal's findings, claiming that the ruling misrepresented how WhatsApp operates, with included inaccuracies regarding its data practices. And in the northeast, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has raised an alarm over the regrouping of Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists in the Tumbus area of Lake Chad and the Mandara Hills within Sambisa Forest in the state. Governor Zulum spoke in Maiduguri when the Minister of Defense, Badaru Abubakaru, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa, and other senior military commanders paid him a visit in his state. He lamented the terrorist groups are getting support internationally, also adding that they were freely breeding in Tumbus water areas on the Lake Chad without much effort by the military to disclose them. This is coming less than a week after security analyst Bulama Bukati, a senior fellow of the Extremism Policy Unit at Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, warned that activities of the dreaded terrorist group Boko Haram are starting to gain popularity on social media platforms like TikTok. And away from that report now, the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development has sought the collaboration of the armed forces to improve human resources, safety, defense, and capacity building in the sector. Ibrahim Kana, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, spoke during a visit by Hassan Abubakaru, the Chief of Air Staff, to his office. The ministry's head of press and public affairs, Udutayo Uluwase, in a statement said Kana expressed the ministry's readiness to strengthen partnership with the armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Air Force. Abubakar also noted the importance of military aviation, even though civil aviation is the lead in the sector. He expressed optimism that harmonious relationship between military personnel, civilians, passengers, and other airports users is possible. And now to politics. The Abia State government has denied reports that the Abia State Governor Alex Otti met with his Imo State counterpart over alleged plans to defect to All Progressive Congress. The special advisor to the governor, media and publicity, Ferdinand Ekoma, in a statement described the report as false, baseless, and unfounded. Ekoma explained that after the National Economic Council meeting on Thursday, Governor Otti and a few of his colleagues joined Uzodinma to attend his birthday celebration of his twin daughters. He further explained that Otti is currently focused on governance and not 2027 politics. You're still watching the News at 9 on Voice of the People television. We'll go on a short break and return with more stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and this is still the News at 9 on Voice of the People television. And now to the rest of the stories. The River State lawmakers in the National Assembly have pledged their support for President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027. The lawmakers declared their support for the president in a statement jointly signed by the caucus members and read by Barry Mpigi, the senator representing Rivers Southeast. The caucus made up of the People's Democratic Party lawmakers, 2 senators and 7 House of Representative members said their position was based on the success so far recorded under the renewed Hope agenda. The caucus thanked Tinubu for intervening in the politics crisis rocking the state, describing his actions as a timely move that created a path to peace. And in another development, the Edo State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has called for the arrest and prosecution of the people alleged to have complicit in the killing of a police inspector, Akor Ono, who was attached to Governor Monday Okpeholo when he was then the senator representing Edo Central Senatorial District and the governorship candidate of the party. Akor was shot and later died when suspected thugs allegedly from the People's Democratic Party clashed with some supporters of the APC who had gone to welcome the then court reinstated Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, who was in the company of Okpeholo and other leaders of APC. A statement by the state chairman of the APC, Jarrett Tenebe, claimed that 15 individuals linked with the incidents have resurfaced and even attended a stakeholders meeting of the People's Democratic Party called by its factional chairman, Tony Azegbemi, a few days ago. And elsewhere, the Kano state government has uncovered payment of over 27 million naira to 247 individuals who have either retired or passed away as salaries for March 2025. The Kano state government said it uncovered the fraudulent payments in March 2025 salary payroll. Now, the information officer, secretary to the state government, Musa Tanko, disclosed this in a statement that was made available to newsmen in Kano. Tanko explained that the irregularity was discovered during a validation exercise conducted by the Pay Parade Committee. And moving on to Ekiti State, Teaching Service Commission will tomorrow open its recruitment portal for application to fill job vacancies in both teaching and non-teaching positions in public secondary schools in the state. The Commissioner for Information, Taiwo, said that the recruitment portal will be open for a period of 2 weeks and effectively closed at midnight on May 12, 2025. In a statement in Edo Akiti, the Commissioner advised interested candidates to apply through the portal. The commissioner also said that applicants would be required to complete an online application form and upload necessary documents such as passport photos, valid identification, and academic certificates. And coming up next is foreign business and sports stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back now to the rest of the stories. Pope Francis was today buried in the Basilica of St. Mary Major after a 2-hour funeral service held in St. Peter's Square. Earlier, some 150,000 people bid farewell to the Pope from the roadside as his funeral procession passed through central Rome, according to estimates by the Vatican. Leaders and dignitaries from around the world attended his funeral service held in St. Peter's Square. The pontiff's coffin was brought to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, the Pope's favorite church in central Rome, in an old Pope mobile following the funeral service in St. Peter's Square. The convoy traveled through the center of Rome, passing some of its best-known sites, including the Forum and Colosseum, accompanied by several escort vehicles and police motorbikes. Some 250,000 gathered for the funeral service both in St. Peter's Square itself and in the surrounding streets. And moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met for 15 minutes inside St. Peter's Basilica before Pope Francis's funeral. The White House described the meeting as very productive. Zelensky himself later described the meeting as very symbolic, with the potential to become historic. Trump and Zelensky were pictured sitting locked in deep discussion minutes before Pope Francis's funeral was due to start. Now the meeting came a day after Trump said Russia and Ukraine were very close to a deal, following talks between his envoy Steve Witkoff and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Friday. The two leaders had not met since their disastrous Oval Office meeting in the White House at the end of February. The pontiffs died at age 88 on Easter Monday. And still on foreign scene, the Trump administration is restoring visas for hundreds of foreign students who had their legal status abruptly terminated, stoking panic among many who feared immediate deportation. U.S. Justice Department Attorney Elizabeth Collin told a federal court that immigration officials are now working on a new system for reviewing and terminating visas for international students. The announcement follows more than 100 lawsuits filed by students who were abruptly stripped of their legal rights to study in the U.S. universities. An estimated 1,800 students and 280 universities have reportedly been impacted in this. Many affected students appear to have participated in political protests or have had serious criminal charges such as driving infractions. And the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had previously said the administration would terminate status for people whose actions the administration believes run counter to the U.S. interests. The policy has caused widespread fear and confusion across hundreds of U.S. universities, with some students opting to leave the country preemptively rather than face possible detention or deportation. And in another development, at least 4 people have died but have been killed and 500 more injured in a massive explosion at a point near the southern Iranian city of Bandar Abbas. The blast took place at the Shahid Rajai port, blowing out the windows of nearby office buildings and causing the roof of at least one building to collapse. Footage shows some fleeing from the wharves at the time of explosion and others lying wounded on the streets. There are also reports of people being trapped under collapsed walls. Still talking about the foreign scene, this report says that Ukraine has denied Russia claims that it has been forced out of Russia's Kursk region. Valery Gerasimov, chief of staff of Russia's military, said these forces had regained full control of the region 8 months after Ukrainian forces first launched a surprise incursion into the border region. While Russia President Vladimir Putin described Ukraine's effort as a complete failure, Ukraine says its troops are still conducting operations in Kursk, with the military describing Russia's claims as propaganda and tricks. Ukrainian forces have also been in retreat in Kursk in recent months, facing about 70,000 Russian troops and heavy drones attacks as part of Russia's drive to regain the territory. In Southern America, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake has injured at least 20 people and seriously damaged multiple buildings in the Ecuadorian port city of Esmeraldas. The European Mediterranean Seismological Center disclosed that the quake struck a depth of 30 kilometers near the Ecuadorian coast. The quake damaged homes and public buildings, caused widespread power cuts, and led to some oil infrastructure being temporarily shut down. Now, President Daniel Noboa said he had deployed all government ministers to coordinate installation of shelters, deliver humanitarian and aid kits. Ecuador's national oil company, Petroecuador, said it briefly suspended operation at its refinery in Esmeraldas because of this earthquake. And now the Naira closed stronger on Friday in the official market, trading at 1,599.55 Naira to the dollar, ending a week marked by fluctuations. This recovery follows a period of instability, with the local currency experiencing several days of inconsistent performance. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria indicated that Naira gained a 2.27 against the dollar. The gain represents a 0.14% improvement from Thursday's rate of 1,601.82 to the dollar. The Naira has opened negatively following the Easter break on Tuesday, April 22nd. And on that day, it traded at about 1,602 Naira per dollar, a 0.16% loss from 17th April's rate of 1,599 Naira. And still business, Elon Musk's personal fortune rose by $18.2 billion as shares of Tesla Incorporated posted their strongest daily gain in months, closing nearly 10% higher. Musk's net worth now stands at an estimated $335 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. The surge came amid renewed investor optimism following the company's stronger than expected quarterly results and a wave of analyst upgrades. Now, despite one-day rally, Musk's year-to-year wealth remains down by approximately $97.7 billion, a 22.6% decline from January highs. And from business, we'll move down to sports, where the president of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi, has been elected as a council member of the Badminton World Federation. The election took place during the BWF annual general meeting held in Xiamen, China, where Obi emerged victorious over top contenders from other African countries. He will join Camerooners Odeti Asembe and Gulu on the council, while Zimbabwean Chipo Zumbaruna and Egyptian Hadia El Said missed out. And elated, Obi expressed his gratitude to fellow badminton's president across the globe for their trust and support. Obi also acknowledged the support of the federal government of Nigeria, particularly the National Sports Commission, which he said played a significant role in his successful bid. And elsewhere in sports, Celtic clinched their fourth successive Scottish Premiership title in fighting style with a 5-0 demolition of Dundee United. Nicholas Cohn and Adam Ida both scored twice at Ryan Strain's own goal set Celtic to course to wrap up their 13th Scottish crown in the last 14 seasons. And with 4 matches left for Celtic, the champions sit 18 points clear of second-place Rangers, who have 5 games remaining. Now the Glasgow Cup have claimed 21 of the last 26 domestic trophies as Brendan Rodgers' men reign supreme in Scotland. And from sports, we move down to entertainment. Davido's 5th album, 5, has earned the singer's career best title on the official album chart in the UK. In the 17-track album, Davido's features Jamaican singer 450 and Shensi South African artist Musa Keys, American musician Chris Brown and Becky G, and a French singer Taïk and Daju. Victony, Odumodu Black, Chike and Omale are the Nigerian singers enlisted in the project. And now in a publication, the music chart, which highlighted the UK's top 100 albums of the week, celebrated Davido for clinching career best with his latest album. 5 also debuted at number 7 from April 25 to May 1, 2024 on the music chart. And with that, we've come to the end of the news. But before we go, let's take a quick look at the headlines again. Truck falls off Lagos Bridge. Police to prosecute Gombe truck driver for Easter killings. UK deports 43 immigration offenders to Nigeria and Ghana. Meta to appeal tribunal's decision on $220 million fine. Governor Zulum raises alarm over Boko Haram regrouping in the state. Abia denies Uchi's alleged defection to APC. And on the foreign scene, Pope Francis laid to rest today. And in the world of business, Naira strengthens 0.14% against dollars. In sports, all be elected into Badminton World Federation Council. And in the world of entertainment, Davido's 5 makes UK album charts. Well, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Voice of the People TV and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. I am Promise. A good evening.